At the end of the 19th century, computing wasn't digital or intelligent. It was mechanical. The first punch card machines were born to solve a specific problem, processing information at a scale that humans could no longer handle alone. They innovated out of necessity. From the beginning, computing was tied to whoever generated and controlled the data: organizations, governments, large corporations. Innovation meant doing the same thing, but faster. With the arrival of electronic computers, calculation became programmable. It was no longer just about automating existing tasks, but creating new processes adapted to their internal knowledge. Here, three drivers clearly emerged: innovation, growth, and differentiation. Companies that adopted computing earlier innovated faster, grew faster, and differentiated themselves from the rest. Software wasn't interchangeable, it was strategic. Each system was specific, costly, deeply tied to the organization's internal knowledge. The microprocessor changed the scale. Computing left the laboratories and entered medium-sized businesses, and then homes. Innovating no longer required a mainframe. It required ideas. With the internet, software became a product. New markets emerged. New companies were born directly on code. Differentiation became essential. Different algorithms, different business models, radically new propositions. As data and computational capacity grew, machine learning went from academic to commercial. But with AI, something new happens. For the first time, the core of the system is no longer built from within organizations. It's not just a technical change, it's a shift in the architecture of computational power. Access is offered as a service, and intelligence is encapsulated behind an API. From a historical perspective, this represents a profound break with everything that came before. Here's where the critical point appears. The three historical drivers of computing weaken. Innovation is delegated. Growth decouples from internal knowledge. Differentiation shifts outside the core. Competitive advantage is no longer in the technology. The technology, the central asset, no longer belongs to those who use it. For companies, this isn't just a technological issue. It's a question of control, intellectual property, and long-term dependency. Never before in the history of computing has the main driver of differentiation been outside the organization. The question is no longer whether companies will continue using artificial intelligence. The question is when and how they will make it their own.
At NeuroBlock, we've listened to our users and introduced configurable inference settings and API access, enabling AI models to be deployed across any infrastructure. Available now. With NeuroBlock OS Cloud, companies turn their data into their own artificial intelligence. Through Data Lab, they can upload their data, create data sets, and train their own AI models designed for specific use cases, fully optimized and specialized for their business. Once trained, models can be downloaded and run on the company's own infrastructure or used directly through NeuroAI, the inference application of NeuroBlock OS Cloud. From NeuroAI, teams can interact with their models, fine-tune inference parameters, control model behavior, and optimize results in real time. Alternatively, models can be accessed via API and integrated into any system, application, or workflow. Your data, your models, anywhere you need them.
Today, most companies use artificial intelligence the same way they rent an asset they will never own. They pay month after month, accept the terms, and hope the rent never goes up. But this subscription-based AI model creates structural risk. When prices increase, terms change, access is restricted, or providers fail to reach sustainable profitability and disappear in what many already call the AI bubble. Operational continuity and margins are immediately exposed. There's also a performance and cost problem. Large generic models make AI agents slower, more expensive to run, and difficult to adapt to specific business workflows. Organizations end up funding compute-intensive intelligence that was never designed for their domain. NeuroBlock changes that model. With NeuroBlock OS Cloud, organizations build and train models in Data Lab, then deploy them anywhere, on their own infrastructure, in their existing cloud, on edge environments, or via NeuroAI's API. The result is a proprietary AI asset. The model, the insights it generates, and the intellectual property remain fully owned by the organization. For solo developers and small teams, the equation is the same. Train and personalize in the cloud, then download the model and run it locally or through NeuroAI. Operational costs become predictable, data stays private, and systems can run offline when required, without ongoing dependency on external pricing. For startups, this is a strategic advantage. Instead of relying on third-party intelligence via API, teams can develop models optimized for their product and their data. That means faster agents, lower inference costs, better unit economics, and a defensible technical moat. With dedicated infrastructure, startups own the technology, not just the interface, making them more resilient and significantly more attractive to investors. For large organizations, the priority is sovereignty. Sending sensitive data outside the enterprise creates legal, compliance, and intellectual property exposure. NeuroBlock solves this by deploying directly into your own infrastructure. In these cases, you don't move into our environment. We deploy into yours. With NeuroBlock, AI is no longer a service you rent. It becomes an asset you own. Faster, more cost-efficient, and purpose-built for your business. Reduce dependency, improve economics, and build proprietary intelligence that strengthens your competitive position over time.